Finally, let's extend a warm welcome to Mr. Jim Nyquist, Group President of Emerson Automation Solutions. Jim is responsible for the process systems and solutions, reliability solutions, power and water solutions, and remote automation solutions. He's just your solutions guy. Jim heads Emerson's project management leadership team and is leading the Project Certainty Initiative, which is Emerson's transformational approach to top quartile project performance. He is also responsible for Emerson's Project Management Office, a global project consulting and engineering organization of more than 5,000 project management and engineering professionals in over 50 countries. From 2004 through 2007, Mr. Nyquist was president of Emerson Process Management in Europe, where he oversaw sales and service in both Western and Eastern Europe and established Emerson's Think customer loyalty program. He architected and led the construction of Emerson's network of solutions industry centers, which are now responsible for executing some of the world's largest automation projects. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jim Nyquist.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to be here today in Lamar. I must say this is my first trip to Lamar, and I'm very impressed. I got some tours yesterday and very pleased to be here. You know, this is the center of the Golden Triangle here, and the numbers Tom talked about in the Gulf Coast investment. The number I've heard is $60 billion of capital investments coming to this Golden Triangle area in the next 10 years. So it'll be a very, very exciting time. And I'm also very pleased to be here and congratulate Dr. Craig and Dr. Evans on their establishment of the Center for Midstream Management. We are a partner in that, in helping them in some of the technology areas. I'll talk about that later, but we're delighted to be involved, and congratulations very much on your success there. Well, I guess I'm the token technology guy speaking today. So I am an engineer, but I'm not a midstream expert. So I did bring a few of those along with me. So if you throw some questions at me, I think I've got some help. But I want to talk today about a topic that's really top of mind in the industry, I would say, or if it isn't, it should be. And that is digital transformation. We are truly at an inflection point, I believe, in the technology in this industry that will have a dramatic impact on the jobs, on the productivity, and then on the efficiency and on the financial results in this particular industry. We've seen a lot of technologies. I'll talk about some of them, some proven, some emerging. A lot of them come out of the IT community or maybe even the consumer electronics industries, but there are a lot of technologies that have a great deal of impact and application here. And we see a lot of companies in this industry and others taking different approaches. So we see top-down approaches to digital transformation. We see bottom-up. We see big bang approaches. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of those that we see and some of the critical success factors of driving digital transformation in the industry. So first, though, let me introduce Emerson to you. Do I control this? I guess I do. Because several people already asked me today, well, what exactly does Emerson do in the midstream industry here? So let me just see if I can tell you. So here's just a quick chart on Emerson, who we are. We are based headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri. We're about a $17 billion company. We're about 87,000 employees worldwide. And we really have two business platforms. You don't exist for 130 years without reinventing yourselves a few times. And I would say we're in the middle of reinventing ourselves again, primarily as an automation company. So about 2/3 of Emerson is an automation solutions business. And in that business, we have the privilege of being able to automate some of the largest and most complex facilities around the world. And so whether it's Saudi Arabia or China or Qatar or right here locally in the Golden Triangle, we have the opportunity to participate and automate some of the greatest and largest facilities in the world. And we're working with many of the companies here. Emerson is where technology and engineering come together to create solutions. And so our core capabilities and competencies are around engineering. And you can see some numbers up there, over 3,000 people that develop new products and software to deliver to our customers, as well as over 5,000 project management, project engineering people, and over 5,000 life cycle services people. So people and engineering and technology is a very big piece of our business, but really our core is also the products and the technologies that we deliver to our customers. And here we call this the stack. You see we start down at the bottom there. These are the sensors, the eyes and ears that are in the facilities, whether it's upstream, downstream, midstream, to measure temperature, pressure, flow, level, analytics. We also have valve portfolios. And then you move up the next level to the control layer, where we literally scan all those inputs. We do the algorithms, we do the safety logic, we do the alarm management, we do the virtualization and the operator interface, and we do the closed loop control real time in any one of these facilities. And then you move up to the next level, which is really purely software level. And here we're talking about everything from reservoir modeling in the upstream world. We're talking about operations management, scheduling, advanced control and real-time optimization, building digital twins for operator training systems, and then also looking at planning, scheduling, and asset and integrity management kinds of software. So we continue to build out a portfolio here that is really a very, very broad portfolio in the automation and digital transformation space. So let's talk about digital transformation. Why is everybody talking about this, and what really is digital transformation? Well, I would say we have been digitizing this industry for many years, for 30 years, with our sensors, our smart sensors, with our control software algorithms, the visualization, and we've been doing that for many years. But the opportunity we see now with the technologies that are becoming available, many of these you see on the screen here, will take us really to the next level and create an opportunity for us to get even more and more out of these operations. And you see things here like big data, all right, analytics, drones, virtual reality, building virtual digital twins, a whole virtual world in parallel with the physical world that allows you to do things all the way from training to trying out strategies and optimizing things and predictive analysis of the process itself. But these technologies, much like they've transformed other parts of the world, will transform this energy and midstream industry as well as the organization and how we operate and how we manage our facilities in the future. Now, as I said, we have seen many approaches to digital transformation, whether it's in the midstream or the downstream, upstream industries. And we've seen some fail, and we've seen some be successful. And so I would tell you, on our experience in the digital transformation world, there are really three critical success factors that, as we work with our customers and as you think about this, you need to think about. Number one is any use of technology should be driven by a business outcome. So if you don't have a problem you're trying to solve and have some tangible, valuable business outcome, don't spend the time. Much like the R&D that we were talking about this morning, find the areas where you can have some impact, spend the time, find the right technologies to digitize. Secondly, a scalable approach. We've seen people take a big bang and do it all at once approach. We like to see, driven by a vision, let's take some scalable approaches. Let's pilot some things, let's prove them out, let's make sure they have an ROI, and then let's scale it out more broadly across an organization or a set of facilities. And finally, recognize that any technology investment is really an investment in people. And so what you're trying to do here is drive higher productivity, how they add more value, create better work environments, but literally it changes their job. So when we talk about midstream, let me give you just a few examples, bring this a little closer here to some specific examples that we see and we're working on in the midstream industries. And that's everywhere from big data and data analytics to artificial intelligence, to cloud, and to mobility applications. So I'll just take a second here and talk about a few of these. First of all, let's talk about the big data and data analytics. You know, there's a huge opportunity for us to connect different data systems that today are maybe standalone islands of data or standalone islands of automation and bring those data together. And when you do that and run some really basic analytics, could be diagnostic analytics, could be first principle analytics, you could start to drive really some predictive analytics. Things like, let's look at the valid alarms, and measure false alarm rates. Let's look at estimating leak size and location and duration in a pipeline, for example. Let's also look at connecting systems. The bottom example there, for example, is looking at optimization and scheduling software with connecting with asset integrity and geospatial information, because process and performance is driven heavily by asset integrity. And so maybe now we can have a model that calculates the worst case loss during a leak and then literally map it on a map and figure out what kind of environmental impact it's having. On the right side is all about now, I say, using data to drive artificial intelligence. You know, there's a lot of data in this industry. You all, the operators here, have lots of data, and I would say you're probably using less than 2% of it today. It's all trapped somewhere inside historical data historians. But when you can take that data and utilize machine learning and analytic or artificial intelligence, you can start to really unleash some insight that we haven't had before. And again, some examples here. You can begin to predict gas demand with neural networks. You can get product sequencing set by schedules and work orders that were generated from the historical data. And you can look at forecasting trends in inventory and revenue based on what's happened historically and using that kind of data. So unleashing that data and getting more insight is a great opportunity here that we see evolving with machine learning. Two other areas, cloud, very quickly. You know, this is something which is evolving and has become very rapidly adopted in the IT level world. In the operations or OT technologies, I think many of us are slower to do this. I think there's always a big question about how much of our data will we really trust to put in the cloud somewhere. But clearly, as we are implementing cloud software, and we probably have 30 or 40 projects where we're really migrating what used to be on-premise software into the cloud in the operations technology area, we see lower cost opportunities here rather than maintaining server farms put in the cloud. You see ease of scale, where you can literally peak demands, you can get infinite capacity for processing capacity, and then also redundancy, business continuity, moving the data around cross regions is much simpler from the cloud kinds of applications. So we're seeing more and more people begin to really question and adopt the cloud technologies as they look at their digital transformation. And finally, mobility, okay? I mean, how much in your mind or in your world has that changed, your world, in the last few years, okay? Now let's think about the young engineering students coming out of college. They expect that, okay? They expect they're going to go to work and their job, they're going to get anything they want on that phone. And we, the little older generation, we've also come to somewhat expect that. So that mobility, the mobility effort is really something that people expect and need to have. And there's no reason we can't adopt greater mobility tools, whether it's work order flow management, whether it's risk management, asset integrity, getting alarming on data. I mean, how great would this be if you're sitting at a romantic dinner at night with your spouse? Wouldn't you like to know if the pump is failing at the refinery? I mean, wouldn't you like to know that right there? It's possible. So those are the kinds of things we're gonna be thinking about and we're implementing. Now, what's the prize, okay? What's the business outcome? And I'll tell you that, you know, we have been automating the core processes in midstream and upstream, downstream for many years, but I'd say we're getting to a level now where we have incremental returns. But we're truly at an inflection point with these technologies that I say those first quartile, those innovators that are going to lead with these are going to see some huge gains in terms of productivity and return in the near future when they implement these. But I'd say an organization is going to have to develop these 5 core competencies in order to successfully be a digitally transformed company. So the first one is automating workflow. How can I literally use technology to eliminate or automate workflow? You know, a great example here is operator rounds. How can I put more sensors out there to eliminate that work and the operator round kind of work? Second is decision support. How can I use more data, analytics, machine learning to really provide better insight to employees and key decision makers in the organization for better decision support? How can I upskill the workforce is a critical area. I'll talk about this in a minute. I'll come back to this. But upskilling the workforce, as we reduce the work, we automate the work, we provide better decision support, We've got to upskill the workforce in that way to give them better and more meaningful jobs. Then mobility we talked about, obviously, and then change management. The biggest issue we see most often in transforming digitally is that resistance to change. We've always done it this way, our procedures are this, and we aren't really ready to change those. So let me circle back here to workforce upskilling very quickly. We're very pleased, as I mentioned, to be involved here with the Center of Midstream Management in helping, and we're donating technology, a lot of these technologies, into the labs. And so we're working here with Dr. Craig at Lamar University. We're working with Valerie and her team at LIT and a couple of the other campuses here. And we've donated some money and some technologies to bring these technologies, so we can be teaching on these. And so it's really important from two standpoints. First, we need to have our engineering students being trained on the very latest technologies that are being used out in the industry today. So when you come out of school, immediately you can be productive, use what you learned on and train on in school, and you know the technologies. Secondly, we've got to upskill the existing workforce. And so what LIT is doing is a great example of bringing in operators and technicians and showing them and having them train and upskill their workforce and their skills to the latest digital technology. So we're very pleased to be involved with this. We think it's going to be a real home run here in the Golden Triangle area as we upskill the resources here for a digital world. And thanks, by the way, also to our local partner, Scallon. I want to leave them out. We have a local impact business partner here, Scallon Controls, in Beaumont, and they're also a partner with LIT and Lamar University. They've been very instrumental in making this all work. So, in closing, I just want to say, digital transformation is here. It's coming. There's no stopping it. And so I think the key thing is, how do we embrace that within this industry, and how do we exploit that for better and more efficient and safe operations? And so it's going to take a village to do this. And any operating companies are going to have to find the partners, whether it's suppliers, whether it's academia, other partners that can help you achieve that. And I'd say there are three critical areas there. Number one is having the expertise, the industry know-how and knowledge, automation, the domain expertise, and of course digital. Having the technologies in all the way from innovative sensing, more eyes and ears and more data, to having a digital infrastructure, and then on top of that layering analytics to really give you the right kinds of insights. And then finally, you need that roadmap. You need the vision with a destination, and then you need to start, you need to plan to go implement. And last of all, it's going to take leadership. And it's going to take bold leadership to drive this transformation, be successful, and change agents within the organization and in your teams to really drive a transformation to really realize the prize. So with that, thank you very much.